Thomas and Friends Retold. Episode 11. Percy Runs Away. Henry, James, and Gordon were still miserable. They had been shut up in tin-myth sheds for several days for being naughty and longed to be let out again. At last, Sir Topham had arrived. He said to the three engines, "I hope you're all sorry, and that you understand that every job on the railway is important. In case you weren't aware, we have a new tank engine called Percy, who helps pull coaches, and Thomas and Edward have worked the main line nicely. But I will let you all out now if you promise to work hard." The three engines smiled. "Yes, sir," said Henry. "We will," said James. "That's good, but please remember that this no-shunting nonsense must stop," said Sir Topham Hatt. "You can count on us, sir," said Gordon. Sir Topham Hatt then told Percy, Edward, and Thomas that they could go play in the branch line for a few days. They ran off happily to find Annie and Clarabelle at Knapford Yard. The two coaches were very pleased to see Thomas again. Edward and Percy played with the freight cars. "Stop! Stop! Stop!" screamed the cars, as they were pushed into their proper sidings. But the two engines laughed and went on shunting until the cars were tidily arranged. Next, Edward took some empty cars to the quarry. Percy was left alone at Knapford when Thomas left with Annie and Clarabelle, but Percy didn't mind that a bit. He liked watching trains and being cheeky to the other engines. "Hurry, hurry, hurry!" he would call, and they got very cross. After a great deal of shunting, Percy was waiting at Wellsworth for the signalman to set the switch so he could get back to the yard. Percy was being rather careless and not paying attention. Edward had previously warned Percy, "Be careful in the main line, whistle to the signalman that you were there." But Percy didn't remember to whistle, so the busy signalman forgot him. Percy waited and waited. The switch was still against him, so he couldn't move. Then he looked along the main line. Percy was shocked and whistled in horror. Rushing toward him was Gordon and the express. "Out of my way! Express coming through!" called Gordon. But Percy didn't move. He shut his eyes tightly while his driver and fireman jumped clear. Gordon applied his brakes. He stopped just in time. When Percy opened his eyes, Gordon was just a few inches from their buffers. But Percy began to move. "I won't stay here! I'll run away!" he puffed. And he did. Percy was reversing fast along the main line. He was so frightened that he ran up Gordon's hill without stopping. After that climb, Percy was tired, but he couldn't stop. He had no driver to shut off steam and apply his brakes. Thankfully, he began to slow down when he reached Lower Suttery Station. "I want to stop! I want to stop!" he puffed. The man in the next signal box saw Percy was in trouble, so he kindly set the switch. Percy puffed wearily onto a nice empty siding ending in a bank of earth. He was too tired now to care where he went. "I want to stop! I want to stop!" "I have stopped!" he puffed thankfully. Some workmen showed up and began to dig him out of the bank. "Never mind, Percy," they said. "You shall have a drink and some coal and then you'll feel better." Presently, Gordon arrived with a tow cable to pull Percy out. "Well done, Percy! You started so quickly that you stopped a nasty accident," said a proud Gordon. "I'm sorry I was cheeky," said Percy. "You were clever to stop," replied Gordon. Then he helped pull Percy out of the bank. Percy and Gordon are now good friends, but Percy is always most careful when he goes out on the main line nowadays.